The following topic is about something very serious that maybe some people can't stomach, but I think sometimes we need passionate advocates to talk about things like this that make me question the criminal justice system and the companies which benefit from it. It honestly infuriates me, so just want to say that real quick. A doctor died at a Disney Springs restaurant from an allergic reaction after being assured the meal was allergen-free. The widower then sued, and of course they did, because this is a terrible, terrible thing. Disney is now trying to dismiss the suit, and of course a gigantic corporation is trying to avoid responsibility. That's nothing new. It's insane, but it's expected. Disney's trying to dismiss the suit, arguing that he agreed to arbitrate all disputes when signing up for a Disney Plus free trial years earlier. Now think about this. This guy bought a Disney Plus free trial back in 2019 for just a week of Disney Plus to watch a movie or something. He didn't even pay for the membership, giving no money to Disney in this transaction. He has agreed to arbitrate all disputes when signing up for a free trial. Anything Disney related, he can't sue. Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Springs. So anyone who has Disney Plus, including me, cannot sue them. Disney is trying to argue that he can't have a jury trial, that it has to be settled by a third party outside of the court system. Or at least that was the case until Disney came out and waived their right to arbitration after people got really upset about it. They're quoted as saying, "At Disney, we strive to put humanity above all other considerations." Remind me again what happened when a grieving dad tried to put Spider-Man on his kid's. I'm not trying to be shocking, this is an actual thing that happened that I still think about a lot, and it's honestly one of the most deplorable things Disney has ever done. Apparently when Walt Disney was alive, he banned the use of Disney characters on graves, tombstones, and other memorial markers. Now because Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel now, yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna still explore the hypothetical of this case. They were completely serious about not giving the widower a jury trial and pushing it under the rug. This was a thing they were actually going to do. So we can't just shrug this off as, oh, they changed their mind. They only did that because we got upset about it. So as I was saying, the woman who died had an allergy to dairy and nuts, and they asked and were reassured multiple times by the staff that what you're gonna eat today does not have dairy and nuts in it. Surprisingly, it did. She tried to administer an EpiPen, but she still died from anaphylaxis due to elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system. When a company does something wrong, it's usually within your right to sue. A pretty popular case that comes to mind is the McDonald's hot coffee case. A case that on paper seems kinda silly, but the woman in question suffered third-degree burns and required skin grafts on her inner thighs. And she won, because the staff at that particular restaurant gave her coffee that was way too hot, and she needed medical intervention for it. Coffee isn't supposed to be that hot. It's kind of a terrifying thought to think that this is a case where somebody actually died, but because of a weird technicality or loophole, Disney could actually win this. Do you want to know how much money the widow was asking for? $1 million? $10 million? No. He's asking for $50,000. That's it. Now to you and I, that sounds like a lot of money, but to Disney, that's just a drop in the bucket. This is something that could be resolved in 2 seconds, but instead Disney feels the need to pull out this guy's Disney Plus membership and use that as a reason to not sue. He's seeking damages as part of Florida's Wrongful Death Act, as well as damages for mental pain and suffering, not to mention medical expenses and funeral expenses, things that, in my opinion, Disney should absolutely pay for, and it's infuriating. This was about to set a terrifying precedent for legal cases like this in the future that involve a big company like this. Not to mention the precedent this sets for the 150 million people subscribed to Disney Plus, and even more who got a free trial and then never bought it. And I think that's completely insane. Again, it wasn't even a subscription. It was a free trial. I have to be honest, there are so many apps and websites these days that I don't always read the terms of service for it. People are busy, and nobody has the time or the law degree to do something like that, which implies the terrifying fact that anyone who has ever purchased or used anything Disney related in the last 10 or 20 years cannot sue them for anything, even if it's entirely their fault. It's basically the equivalent of Mickey Mouse punching you in the face, going into your basement, finding out you bought Toy Story 20 years ago, and then saying, "Gotcha, You can't sue now. A lot of people have been comparing this to an infamous South Park episode where Kyle, who did not read the iTunes Terms of Service, kind of maybe accidentally agreed to become part of a human centipede due to a clause that was hidden in the fine print of a long 200-page agreement.
By clicking agree, you are also acknowledging that Apple may sew your mouth to the butthole of another iTunes user.
Another example I can think of is Parks and Rec Season 7. 2015 presented the looming threat of companies like Facebook harvesting data for their own benefit, and their response to it was to have everyone in the town of Pawnee get sent treasured personal items in the mail that the company only knew about because users agreed to a piece of fine print in the terms of service that said we can collect any private data we want about you, including medical history and private interests.
You snuck it into the 27th update of a 500-page user agreement. A person should not have to have an advanced law degree to avoid being taken advantage of by a multi-billion-dollar company.
Large companies already wield so much power, but now having the power to rely on the average person not reading every user agreement for every Burger King app and Tubi membership they sign up for each month, that's really bad. If a judge within our United States court system finds this to be acceptable, then I'm genuinely going to lose even more faith in the criminal justice system. And I know some of you watching actually do have a law degree and are aware of a Supreme Court decision that said if a company's terms of service is not essential to the service itself, then it's probably not legally viable. And that sounds like good news. But the problem is that Disney clearly almost figured out a loophole, and for a solid 48 hours, they considered using Disney Plus terms of service as legal precedents for a Disney Springs lawsuit, and I feel like that's dangerous. And it makes me worry that this might happen again because it almost did.
Congress just passed a bill legalizing murder if you're rich.
No, they didn't. Oh my God, they did.
What does that mean for future lawsuits where the guilty party definitely did that stuff, but the victim has to deal with this weird technicality? How can we honestly feel proud of a justice system that's capable of a loophole like this that benefits a company that doesn't really need $50,000 anyway? What is wrong with you? Why are you like this? God. If you're interested in learning more about this case, there is a 19-page PDF of the actual lawsuit itself that I'll leave below for you to read and judge for yourself. It defines multiple counts of negligence that are directed towards Disney, and I think they are valid. Allegedly. I might have to say allegedly because Disney is kinda scaring me right now. I don't know what they're capable of. They are a giant that is growing bigger every day, and I have some personal fears about that. I pray for this family, and I hope people know how important this case is. I feel sad and worried, but hopeful, I guess, because I know there are other people out there that feel the same way I do. People who also want justice in times like these. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate it.
Just because it passed the House doesn't mean the Senate
Really, Diane?
Okay, but the president could still veto.
Really, Diane?
All right, sure, but the Supreme Court... Okay, I get it.